So hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we want to simplify root 2 plus root 3. Alright, so how do you simplify this? Now, if you're on this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and also share, and click the notification button so that anytime I upload video, you'll be the first to enjoy. Now, simplify square root of 2 plus root 3. How do we do that? Now, let's start. So I can say, let a plus square root of b be equal to square root of 2 plus square root of 3. Alright, so that's the first thing you're going to do. Okay, so maybe this is minus, you have to put minus here. But since this is plus, so you put plus there. And next thing you're going to do is to eradicate the square root. Then how do we do that? We have to take the square of both sides. So we have raised the power of 2, raised the power of 2. So this square will cancel out this square root. And next thing you are going to do now is to expand this. So we do that, we have a plus square root of b squared. It means a plus square root of b multiplied by a plus square root of b. So a multiplied by a will give us a to the second power. A multiplied by root b will give us a root b. Root b times a will give us a root b, alright? And then root b times root b will give us b. Then everything is equal to 2 plus square root of 3. So then you break those with constant, and then a squared plus b. That's the whole number, a squared plus b, and the one with surd. Root a root b plus a root b will give us what? 2a root b. So then everything is equal to 2 plus root 3. And next thing I'm going to do now is to equate. Now, since this is just a whole number and this is square root, alright? So we can now equate this to be equal to this and equate this to be equal to this. Then it will not become a simultaneous equation. So we're going to have a squared plus b is equal to 2. So we're going to call this equation 1. Then 2a root b is equal to what? Square root of 3. We're going to call this equation 2. Now, next thing we're going to do now is to simplify our equation 2. Now, this is square root, this is square root. So we have to take the square of both sides. So we take the square of both sides, square will cancel out square root here. 2 squared is 4. Then a squared is a squared. Then root b squared is root b. So 4a squared b is equal to 3. Alright, so that's your equation 2 like that. Now let's write out the equation 1 to solve. So we have a squared plus b is equal to 2, equation 1. And the second equation, which is 4a squared b, is equal to 3, equation 2. Now, from equation 1, I can make a squared the subject of the formula. So if I do that, I'm going to have a squared is equal to what? 2 minus b. Alright? Then you substitute a squared to be what? 2 minus b in equation 2. So if you do that, we're going to have 4 into brackets. So instead of me writing a squared, I'm going to write 2 minus b, then multiply by b, which is equal to 3. Then you open the brackets, so this also means 4b, because 4 times b equals 4b. So into bracket 2 minus b is equal to 3. So 4b multiplied by 2 will give us 8b. The 4b multiplied by minus b will give us minus 4b squared. And everything is equal to 3. Now, let's rewrite this quadratic equation. So we're going to have negative 4b squared plus 8b. Then if you subtract 3 from both sides, we have minus 3 is equal to 0. Alright, so how are we going to do this now? So this is a quadratic equation, okay? So I taught you the factorization method in my previous video. So your factorization method involves two things. The products of roots and the sum. So negative 4b squared multiplied by negative 3 will give us negative 12b squared. Then positive. Negative times negative will give us positive. So you think of two factors that you multiply together, you have 12b squared, and if you have to subtract, you get 8. So what are the two factors? So that should give us 6b and 2b, right? 6b times 2b will give us 12b squared, and 6b plus 2b will give us 8b. Do you understand now? So we can now write this quadratic equation as follows. Negative 4b squared, alright, plus 2b plus 8b minus 3 is equal to 0. Plus 6b. So 2b times 6b, 12b squared. 2b plus 6b, 8b. Then you factorize. So if you factorize, you're going to have something like this. You group it and factorize. Now, what is common here is negative 2. So we have negative 2 into brackets, negative 2b. So we're gonna have 2b, then negative 1. And what's going here is positive 3. So bracket 2b minus 1. And everything is equal to 0. So you bring 2b and 3 together. So we're gonna have 2b plus 3. I take 1 out of this. So we have 2b minus 1 is equal to 0. So this means that 2b plus 3 is equal to 0, or 2b minus 1 is equal to 0. So this implies that 2b is equal to minus 3, or 2b is equal to 1. And here you divide this out by 2, by 2, by 2, by 2. So we have b is equal to negative 3 over 2, or b is equal to 1 over 2. Now, we already know the values of b, but we want to find a. Okay? So from this equation, right, we know that a to the second power is equal to 2 minus b. Alright, so we can now find the value of a from this. So when b is minus 3 over 2, so we're going to have a to the second power is equal to 2 minus 3 over 2. So this means that a to the second power is equal to 2 now. Minus and minus will give us plus. Alright, so this implies that a to the second power is equal to, so the LCM is 2. Okay, so we have over 1. So how many 1 counts into that? 2 times 2, we have 4. Plus how many 2 counts in 2? That's 1. 1 times 3, we have 3. So this will be equal to a to the second power is equal to 7 over 2. So we cannot take the square root of both sides. So we have a is equal to root 7 over root 2. So then if you rationalize, so we're going to have root 7 times root 2 over root 2 multiplied by root 2. So this will give us root 14 over 2. Okay, so that's the first value of a. Then when b is half, we're gonna have a squared is equal to 2 minus half, and then this will give us b should be half. So where am I writing minus half? Sorry, so that should be half. So this will be half. So we're gonna have a squared is equal to 2 minus half. Alright, so we have a squared is equal to, the LCM is 2. So we have 2 minus 1. 4 minus 1. So we have a squared is equal to 3 over 2. Then definitely a will be equal to what? Square root of what? 3 over 2. Then if you rationalize that also, we have square root of 6 over what? Over 2. Alright, so those are the two values of a. The first one is root 14 over 2, and the second one is root 6 over 2. Alright, now, but we want to find the square root of this, and then we said this, we know that square root of 2 plus square root of 3 is equal to a plus square root of b. Are we together? So now, the first value of a is root 14 over 2. So we're going to have root 14 over 2 plus the first value of b, so which is minus 3 over 2. Alright? So we have square root of negative 3 over 2. Yeah, this is a complex number. So definitely you are going to neglect this one. Okay? Then take the second one. Check the second one. So we have a plus root b. So the second value of a is root 6 over 2, then plus square root of b. The second value of b, which is 1 over 2. So this means we have square root of 6 over 2 plus square root of 1 over square root of 2. And don't forget square root of 1 is 1. So we have root 6 over 2 plus 1 over root 2. Okay, so if we rationalize this one, so we're going to have root 6 over 2 plus root 2 over 2. And the LCM is 2, so you can factor out 1 over 2. So you have 1 over 2 into brackets root 6 plus root 2. So definitely we find the square root of 2 plus root 3. So we're going to have square root of 6. 1 over 2 into brackets square root of 6 plus square root of 2. Even we have 1 over 2 into brackets square root of 6 plus square root of 2. So that is the answer to the question. Alright guys, so if you like this kind of video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment and also share. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.